It's June of 2000 here, coming at you with a movie review of. They're going to be separate, but they're in a double feature, one disc DVD, Blu-ray of Rob Zombie's Halloween. Halloween 2 will be another separate after this one. It'll be next. But my review is on the Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007, directed by Rob Zombie and written by him, starring Scout Taylor Compton, Tyler Main, Tyler Main, Malcolm McDowell, Sherry Moonsabi, Danny Trejo, Brad Dourif, Danielle Harris, William Forsythe. Yeah, that's a lot of good cast right there. And I don't mind this movie. I don't mind Rob Zombie's Halloween. I'm not with everybody that hates this movie. Yes, there's some problems with it. I don't have problems with people saying that, oh, the prequel shit sucked. I actually am a fan of the prequel stuff. I didn't give a shit about the white trash shit that opened the movie where Ronnie and was it Michael Myers' mom, that's played by Sherry Mushambi, arguing and cussing at each other. Bitch, I'll go the fuck out of here. When that's all that fucker does is when cry, when like the stuff was over the top and just really obnoxious. But out of all that, when they get to like Michael Myers dealing with the bullies and he beats the shit out of the bullies, and then building up to his carnage, killing the asshole Ronnie, and then killing Judah's boyfriend. Also, that's a difference. Like they had her boyfriend get killed, and then he kills Judith, and then he's like left alone with his baby sister until his mom arrives, and he confesses what happens, and yeah, and him being interviewed by Dr. Loomis, that's played by Malcolm McDowell. Good performance by Malcolm McDowell. And on and on. The scenes where he's being interviewed and all that shit that he's making with these crazy masks and shit. I kind of wish the whole movie was just about that. Because I know there's a graphic comic book novel that was like including a DVD set. I think it was the 25th anniversary DVD. I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong, but I think I remembered. No, no, I don't think. No, that was the photography story. But I know there was a comic books novel that was about Michael Myers in the Smith Grove mental institution and him being all crazy and slowly developing of his mayhem, killing a lot of mental patient kids that would bully him and treat him like shit. But he would get those motherfuckers back by stabbing them in the eye with needles and shit or other ways to kill them gruesomely. I wish the whole movie was just. I wish that prequel shit was with that story. I wish the whole movie was just about that, and then just have the last 15 minutes of him like it's it's 20 years later. No, like 20 or 17 years later. What do they call it? I don't know what the hell they say with the story. No, 15 years later. Like it's 15 years later. Have the last 15 minutes of him escaping, and then that's when they could conclude it to not. If they wanted to remake Halloween, do it in Halloween too. Just have the last 15 minutes of him escaping. I think to me that would have made the movie even much better. I know some people may disagree because it destroys the mythical, but it's just my opinion. I think that's how I could have seen this movie in a better light, in a better way of making that prequel pretty relevant. But I did like the first half of the movie. But the second half with the remake, I'm kind of mixed on it. I don't mind it, but it's like a really weak comparison of the original with a really weak remake version of what the original was. But what makes it up is Tyler Maine's Michael Myers. Like this dude's a tall motherfucker and he kills a lot of people in this movie really brutally and gruesomely. And yeah, Tyler Mane was pretty cool as Michael Myers. Gotta admit that. He was pretty cool. But yeah, now let's just get back to the review. The movie's about Michael Myers as a kid, and it's not like set like in exactly like 1968, but it's like in this pretty much in the 70s. And then Michael Myers is like in a shitty household life with white trash redneck household family members, and he lives with his shitty family that treats him like crap. The only one that he actually respects is his baby sister that Ronnie keeps yelling and making fun of for crying because she's like crying at him, like telling him to shut up. But yeah, she like he's not the only one that's like that. The only one that's kind of him is the baby sister, but his older sister's a bitch and she treats him like trap. But Ronnie's an asshole, and he's played pretty well by William Forsythe, and he's a great underrated actor. I like William Forsythe from movies like Out for Justice with Steven Seagal, American Me with Edward James Olmos, Warren Beatty and Dick Tracy. William Forsythe, he played flat face or flat top. Like he was one of Big Boy's gangster. He was like one of Big Boy's gangster bros that would like taunt a lot at Dick Tracy a lot. But yeah, William Forsythe was a Dick Tracy villain character. Um, he was in a lot of movies. Of course, he was in Rob Zombie's movies before. He was in Devil's Reject as one of the sheriff to like the brother of Tom Towles character that gets killed in the first movie. He comes into the second movie, and Will Forsythe does a great performance as the sheriff. Sheriff Wydell. That's what they call him, Sheriff Wydell. His performance in that movie is fucking phenomenal and great. But of course, he plays this character named Ronnie, who's such an asshole in this movie. And yeah, he is a miserable bastard. Of course, he's like pretty much meant to be Michael Myers' daughter. Michael Myers' mom's boyfriend for some reason. But why the fuck would they keep him there? He's an asshole. And of course, his mom's played by Sherry Moon Zombie, who does an okay, decent job in the movie. Just like Sherry Moon Zombie's not the best actress, but she does pretty good and decent with the performance as his mom. Of course, his mom's like a stripper and stuff. And I don't know why would she even keep Ronnie in this household because he's a piece of shit. He treats his family like she treats her family like shit. Like, why the fuck would he be there? And of course, his sister's a big old slut bitch where she treats him. She doesn't treat Michael Myers with any respect. She doesn't even treat the mom respect either. Because like I don't know, but you know what? Michael Myers does deal with all this shit, and he goes to school, gets hassled by the bullies, taunting about, oh how your mom should suck my dick and stuff, and he's telling them shut the fuck up, and they start fighting each other. The principal comes in, which I think the principal was played by Richard Lynch, who was like in a few other, he was like in a lot of old movies before. I think he was in a few Cronenberg movies. I'll be wrong, but Richard Lynch. I think he was also in Ritual. I could be wrong, but I think he was in the movie Ritual. That's not a David Cronenberg movie, but he was in. I think he was in that movie Ritual. Richard Lynch, and yeah, he plays the principal that catches them in the fight and breaks it up. But Michael's the one that just curses the principal out, saying, "Fuck you." What did you call me? I said, "Fuck you." Fuck me. And he just grabs Michael on his back of his shoulder and says, "My back, grab it." And of course, he calls Michael's mom to see why he's in trouble. she's pissed at him like, oh, well, you got me out of my job. You you called me out of me in the middle of working and shit. But one leads to another. You get Malcolm McDowell's character who's playing Loomis, Dr. Loomis in this film, in the remake. And of course, he explains what's the problem with Michael and how he's like taking his mental illness where he starts killing animals and he takes pictures of it and they catch him with a dead cat that he had in his locker and all the dead animals he took pictures with Polaroids. And one leads to another. They start having a discussion of like, oh, they should have Michael in a psychiatric help to help his depression and his mental illness until this distraction makes Michael get out of the room, runs to his locker room. The Halloween music starts playing. He gets to the locker room and gets his mask that he had, the Halloween clown mask. One leads to another. He follows the boy that treated him like shit in the bathroom and making fun, rude comments about his mom. And sneakily gets the motherfucker in the knee with a big ass branch stick and beats the shit out of the bully. Like he beats the shit out of him with this big ass branch, like boom, boom, big old crunch noise, fucking him up with the knee in the back and shit. His nose even gets fucking bloody up, just beating the shit out of him until he dies. He kills the bully. So that's like Michael's first victim. And while he's another is Halloween night. His mom is going to work, but she's telling his sister Judith to take Michael trick or treating, but her shitty boyfriend comes, and then she doesn't want to go trick or treating with Michael Myers. She tells him go by yourself. She's such an asshole to him, and Michael doesn't take this too kindly, so he starts like killing first Ronnie, who's asleep, ties him up, duct tapes him, and slices his throat until a bunch of blood comes out. And waits for like the boyfriend to come down, whoever comes down, which is the boyfriend of Judith, wanting to eat a sandwich until like boom, Michael has the aluminum bat and bashes the motherfucker in the head, like boom, boom, big old metal sound to the brain, bashing the dude's head up like Al Capone in The Untouchables, like dude, all gangster. And of course, he goes upstairs to see his sister Judith, but he finds the mask that the asshole boyfriend had, which was the shape mask. Michael puts it on, kind of pisses his sister off, but he stabs her in the gut, and then she starts walking through the hallway all fucked up, and then he starts slashing the shit out of her with her, cutting her through through her Achilles, I think you call it Achilles, like slashing through her there, and then through her leg and her back, like fucking her up too, and killing her until he sees his sister baby. I mean, his baby sister that he sees there. That's like the last one that's alive, telling her Happy Halloween. And you know what? He doesn't kill his baby sister because she was like the only one that didn't. He was the only one that he cared for. Everybody else is treating him like shit. So he waits up in the front of the house until his mom notices, and then they start taking the dead bodies, and his mom's all shocked that the daughter's dead. So Michael's up to the Smith Grove psychiatric facility, getting interviewed and evaluated by Sam Loomis and all this stuff, examining who he is, what was the mentality of Michael Myers and who he is as a monster. And of course, he gets visited by his mom, but one leads to another. One day, he gets what do you call it? Like he gets like the last visit with his mom, where she gives him a picture of him and his baby sister taking a picture of in a Polaroid. And one leads to another. They're about to leave, and of course, Loomis left this nurse with him, and It's cut out in the theatrical cut because you don't really get that stupid ass line from the nurse. But in the director's cut, she kind of comes off as a bitch, where she's just like, "Cute baby, she wouldn't be related to you." Like, of course, that line comes off like she just comes off as a bitch. But it is cut out in the theatrical cut, so like you didn't really get that stupid ass line where okay, he just comes out and just unexpectedly, shockingly kills his nurse lady very unexpectedly. Like that's better because it was only extending that shitty in the underrated director's cut. That was it. But no, it's cut out because this one is a theatrical version. I actually like the theatrical version better, even for part two, which I'll get to in this next video. But yeah, he kills the nurse lady, grabbing a fork and stabbing the shit out of her neck and just jamming it through like a knife. And of course, it shocks Loomis. Like, Michael, why'd you do this? And even it shocks his mom too. Stop it, Michael, stop it. Of course, it shows his mom's all fucking depressed and sad what his her son's going through, like what his son is now. Like he fully just got himself to the maximum mental institution where he fully killed a nurse, so like he is fucked, and she can't see him no more. Well, what he did, and one of these in her depression, she looks at old home videos about Michael and stuff, and she takes her own life by shooting herself off screen. It's not on screen, but it's off screen. She takes her own life, and it's like 15 years later. Michael Myers is all grown up and played by Tyler Mane. And I forgot to mention the kid's name. I forgot how you pronounce his name. It's hard to pronounce his name, but the kid wasn't that bad. A lot of people make fun of his performance, but I thought he was pretty good as Michael Myers, like the young version of him as a kid. He did a pretty good job. But then when you get to 15 years later, you get Tyler Mane as the full Michael Myers. Now it's getting to the remake realm. Of course, Danny Trejo's playing like a guard who's like good friends with Michael Myers. He's like the one that took care of him a lot. He's like the good character that gets killed. Like out of all the characters that get killed in this movie, there's a lot of characters that does get killed in this movie. They're like douchebags, but he's like the only one character that gets killed that's a likable person. And it's like it shows you that Michael doesn't even give a fuck if you're a good or a bad person. Not, well, of course, bad person deserves it, but even if you're a good person, he doesn't give a flying fuck. He kills you because he's a killer. It's like Jason. Jason doesn't give a fuck. He kills anybody. Even if you're a good person, he'll kill you. Freddy doesn't give a rat's ass. Chucky doesn't give a shit because they're demons. But one of these another, he gets transported to like people evaluating him, seeing if they want to get him out, but he's declined for parole. And then Loomis is saying like, I can't see you anymore, Michael. It's gonna be my last day to see you. And this does piss off Michael Myers. Like Loomis just abandoned him. And one leads to another. The day Michael Myers is transported, he attacks a few guards. Which there's a different scene. This one, the theatrical version, has the scene where he's getting transported and he kills a few guards. And a few guards that are played in this movie, they're played by Tom Towles, Leslie Easterberg, and Bill Moseley. And I was like, running, how the fuck are they in the movie? I never saw them because I only saw the unrated cut before. It's because they're in the theatrical cut in the scene where they're transporting Michael Myers. Because that scene is different. But in the unrated version, there's a bullshit rape scene where it involves the shitty character that's played by Lou Temple. He was like the asshole guard redneck dude that was like trying to touch Michael Myers' mask, and Danny Trejo says like, "Shut the fuck up, dude, and don't touch his mask." He doesn't like anybody playing with a mask. Well, that dude, he goes into it's in the underrated cut where he's with his cousin that works there too, who's played by Cordy Gaines, which is so random that he's in the movie too. But it's in the unrated version where he kills Lou Temple and Corny Gaines characters that were like raping this mental patient victim that's like there, raping this victim in his room, and then Michael kills them. Those stupid motherfuckers. It was a dumb scene. I didn't care for it. To me, I prefer the escape scene where he kills Bill Moseley, Leslie Eisenberg, and Tom Towles in this scene where they're transporting them because they're playing guards and they're playing like transport guards, security guards in the movie, and they get killed very brutally. I prefer this escape better because of course he gets a escape by breaking through his chains like fucking Kane, like fuck breaks through the fucking chains, hits them with the steel chains, grabbing Tom Towles, bashing his head through the wall with a bunch of blood coming out of his brain. And of course, Bill Moseley gets his throat hit with the chains, like his throat is fucked up. And of course, Leslie Eastberg tries to get in, but she was gonna use the gun, but it shot one of the other guards. And he's like, "Oh shit!" And of course, Tyler Maines, Michael Myers grabs her in the throat and fucking rips her throat off, going all Rick, going off, going all Dalton from Roadhouse, ripping that dude's throat. Like where he does it with, because Michael Myers does it with Leslie Eastberg's character, where she's a guard, boom, rips her throat up, and she's like bleeding the shit out of her throat, like very brutally. That was a better scene in my opinion. That was cool, and it had pretty good practical effects, and I did like that scene. And it goes and concludes to the scene where Danny Trejo starts looking around, noticing the hospital's empty until he finds dead bodies, and then he sees Michael Myers out of his room, tries to get back to this room, and one leads to another. He beats the shit out of Danny Trejo's character and throws a TV on his face and kills him. He's like the only character that was likable in the movie that got killed. It's like it showed you that Michael doesn't give a fuck. He's a killer. He's fucked up in the head. Like, of course, the only thing that he's not going to kill is his sister, because that's the only person he doesn't kill. But one leads to another, he makes the escape. Loomis hears about this news. He goes and kills Ken Faree in this shit house bathroom, where Ken Faree is coming into the truck, and then he has to take a shit after riding on the the 18-wheeler truck, and then looking at porno magazines and getting interrupted by Michael Myers in the shit stall, and then have a big fight. And he goes up to him, like to Michael Myers' face. "Let me introduce myself. I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. I'm gonna cut that mask right off your face." And after that, Michael just grabs him and started wrestling the fuck out of him, and started banging his hand through like the side stall of the bathroom, like, dude, dude, dude. And they actually used a real bathroom stall, which was pretty insane to use. And it was not like they were using stunt people for that scene. The stunts were actually just done by Ken Faree and Tyler Mane. They were doing the stunt, and that was a hell of a stunt. Like going and breaks. Ken Faree tries to punch him, but Michael grabs the knife and boom, stabs him a few times in the gut and steals his jumpsuit. Um, all that Michael needs is the mask. One leads to another. Michael makes it back to his house, gets the latex mask of the shape mask back on. Now he has his whole outfit on. And of course, you get introduced to his baby sister, which is Laurie Strode in the movie, played by Taylor Compton, who does a decent job in the movie. She's not that bad. She may come off as a little irritating in the movie, but all in all, I didn't mind her character in this movie. Her character is kind of annoying in the second movie. Like, it's not annoying in the theatrical cut, but it is annoying in the director's cut. They kind of make her character so shitty in the second movie of the director's cut. which I don't give a shit about the director cut of Halloween 2 that much. But all in all, one leads to another. She is planning to babysit Tommy Doyle and talking to her friends, and one of her friends, that's the Annie character, is played by Danielle Harris. And Danielle Harris was previously in Halloween 4 and 5 as Jamie, as the character Jamie, who is the daughter of Laurie. And it's always unknown who her dad is, but my assumption is that it's Jimmy. I believe that ending, which of course it is like only the extended ending in the Halloween 2, I believe Jimmy was her dad. Like, to me, that's probably like the good guess who Jamie's dad is, because they never like tell who it. When Halloween 2 came, when was it Halloween 4 came out, nobody really assumption like who was her dad, because we know what Laurie's her mom, but they never say who her dad was. And then when it shows the alternate ending of Halloween 2, which I actually do like that alternate ending, but one leads to another. I think that was like the theory that Jimmy is Jamie's dad. But Daniel Harris is playing the character Annie. And yeah, the remake version of these characters, they're not the best because some of the shitty dialogue that they had to say, especially the character Linda, the character in this movie is kind of annoying. Especially that character, the way they're talking to each other. It's just, nah, I kind of like PJ Souls as Linda better. I forgot the actress name, but she's not credited in the movie in this back of the Blu-ray. But I don't know. It's just her acting was not the best. I would say out of all the actors, I think she was the weakest actress in the movie that played the character Linda. But on after they have their shitty, fun friend discussion, they lead to another. Michael Myers starts killing Laurie's parents after she left to be with Annie. She kills her dad and her mom, which they're her foster parents, because it's Michael Myers' sister. But Dee Wallace is playing her foster mom. She's only in there for a bit of the movie. Like, there's not much scenes with her, like except like 3 scenes with her, especially when she gets killed by Michael with a brutal neck snap. And of course, everybody knows Dee Wallace from The Howling and Cujo and all that good shit. She's a horror movie legend actress, screen queen. But yeah, she's in the movie. That's just cool. But one leads to another. He kills her foster parent. Starts attacking her friend Linda and her boyfriend Bob. Killing Bob, stabbing him with the recreation of the stab with a knife. And then doing the remake version of See Anything You Like scene with the ghost sheet, the Bob ghost sheet, Michael Myers. It's kind of lame in the remake of the version of this one, but I do like the original movie with that scene better. But Michael Myers grabs her and breaks and strangles the shit out of her and takes her naked ass out to the barn place in the back of the house where Laurie would find her dead body there. One leads to another. Of course, he starts attacking Annie and her boyfriend and kills her boyfriend and fucks up Annie. And Loomis is starting to meet up with Sheriff Brackett, who's Annie's dad, played by Brad Dourif, and he's a great actor. I really wish he was the main character of Halloween 2. I think that would have also made Halloween 2 more watchable if he was the lead of that movie. Because Brad Dourif is a great fucking actor. He's criminally fucking underrated. I feel like he should have gotten an Oscar nominated performance by him playing the Gemini Killer in Exorcist 3. That was a fucking missed opportunity by the damn Oscars. But guess what? Oscars don't give a shit about horror movies. That's the fact. They may nominate some horror movies, but they really don't give a shit about it. They only want to talk about fucking drama and action movies. That's it. Fuck the Oscars. But one leads to another, the babysitting, and one leads to another. Laurie finds Annie's beat up body that Michael Myers left, and she's getting stalked by Michael, and then they get to the house, and she's trying to protect the kids, and one leads to another. The cops come, and he fucks them up, stabbing the shit out of them, breaks through the glass bathroom door, kidnapping Laurie Strode, and bringing her to his back to the house, and trying to revive Linda, even though she's dead. She's gone. Now Michael reveals who she is to him, and showing her the little picture of her as a baby next to younger Michael, and unmasking himself with his long hair, and she acts like she knows him already, but trying to like doing like a ruse to fuck him up with the knife, stabbing him in the neck, and she makes the escape until like she falls into the pool, and she gets saved by Loomis after Michael gets shot 6 times by Loomis, and then Loomis took her to the car, take her out of the place from away from Michael, and one leads to another. Michael comes back. He's still alive. He's about to like kill Laurie, but he lets her go and kills Loomis by squeezing the shit out of his eyes. Like, you know, like how Don kills that asshole, and 20 days later squeeze the shit out of Loomis's eyes and kills him. And one leads another, a big chase around the house where Laurie's trying to go through the roof, and Michael Myers gets his big ass 2x4 breaking the shit out of the walls and walls. I would say that's another con. That scene does go on forever. It is kind of cool to see visually first, but it goes on for like 5 fucking minutes and shit. But one leads to another. She makes it out to the roof, and then she sees Michael, and she's trying to shoot him with the gun, but Michael spears her out of the window from the 2-story of the house, and they fall to the floor. And one leads to another. Laurie's all fucked up, but she grabs the gun and starts like shooting Michael, but she keeps trying to shoot, but the bullets would not fire a bullet until like Michael finally revives and grabs her hand, but she finally shoots and starts screaming her head off. And there's like a visual of Michael as a kid with her as a baby in one of the family footage tapes or something, one of these another. You get a peek of the original Halloween theme song for like 10 seconds. Like, holy shit. That was cool to hear the original theme song for a bit until you got the remake version of it mixed together. Of course, you cannot play the original music because it's owned by John Carpenter. But one leads to another. That was the end of the movie, and you will continue in part 2. But yeah, that's the Blu-ray. It's a Canadian Blu-ray Alliance DVD. Of course, this one is in French. The other side, the reversible side. But this is like the English side. This Blu-ray is out of print. It is out of print. But one leads to another. This is a pretty good, decent movie, even though it's a mix and mix. I don't mind it. I do like the first half of the prequel stuff. And some of the acting may not be the best, but all in all, it's a brutal fucking film. And I don't mind it. Definitely enjoyed Rob Zombie's Halloween 2007. Hit the like, subscribe, and take care, folks. Bye-bye.